right, Kusile, thank you for joining us. Good morning and welcome to the show. It's a Friday. It's the start of the weekend, the 10th of May. Welcome to Thank you for joining us. Eswatini some of you been setting konzweni itolo celebrating kunyuka kwaJesu Ascension Day. I think this is the last holiday for the next 2 months. Il holiday lelandzelako salibona on the 22nd of July. So hopefully nikhonile ku enjoy langa lenu itolo ngalakaloko. Welcome to the show. Thank you for joining us.
Indeed, welcome to the program nalamhla ekseni kungu lesihlanu. Vuka nathi ke ngwane lomuhle indzaba lenkhulu sisabuya khona kuyophumula bantu ukuthi sebavele babuka iweekend. Yathi it's always a concern with people, especially on social media. If you just go through what people say, lama holiday shangatha ngaba ngabo lesihlanu sitobele kube ne long weekend.
And angatsayachelana nje lokuthi no asibe nje on a Wednesday, on a Tuesday.
The last one was on a Wednesday.
Yeah, it was last week
was
Wednesday.
Was it Workers' Day?
It was Workers' Day.
Yes.
Yeah. So nje ngokuphumula lekuphumula nje ukuthi vele le ma long weekends but sesebe ukuthi nikhonile ukuthi nithandaze njengoba shito nje umfundisi ukuthi take this day ukuthi just to give thanks to the Lord in commemoration of the Ascension Day. Sesebe ukuthi ukhonile ku connecta naye uNkulunkulu ukhumbule ukuthi sisukaphi na Jesu Kristu lapha emhlabeni. We're looking forward to the weekend. The weekend this week, the UN Ghanaian and my partners they have partnered with the MTN Bushfire Festival 2024 to promote the sustainable development goals. On the 31st to the 2nd of June this year, United Nations will bring 7 UN agencies and countless advocates to ignite discussions on crucial issues like gender-based violence, food security, and climate action. This joint effort aims to inspire action, drive change, and also empower our communities in Eswatini and beyond. UN resident coordinator this week, babambisene nalabo labahlela umcimbi we-MTN Bushfire Festival. Ngaloko ukuthi kunengi kumele kudiscuss ukuvane ukuthi vele sesihambe safikaphi silivele Eswatini in implementing the 17 SDGs. Sidakumela ukuthi imigomo ke lena ke leyabekwa nguye mhlabhlangene kuzama kona siqiniseke ukuthi abantu batfola emalungelo abo ayanakekeleka. Sifuna kuva kuye ke Sibusiso Mngadi lobukela office ilaka UN laka communications kuvuza vele silivele Eswatini sisambe kanganani in implementing these 17 SDGs and also what role as we the society can play and what role can we as journalists can play kuzama kuhambisa lwati ngawo lama 17 SDGs. Timvukele dile abatabe bati discuss kutabe kunama dialogues khona MTN Bushfire Festival ku discuss atinza bat fire kazi GBV indzaba lena le matima kakhulu eveni kubuka ukuthi nama cases solo maningi bamfla babika eGBV kutabe kunema dialogues ke netinhlangano letinye letibuke tona tindzaba tehlukubeteka tindzaba tabo climate change kunengi nje kutabe kudiscusswa letihambelana nawo lama SDGs. So we're looking forward to that interview later on the show.
My biggest worry, Lulu, it's 6 years before 2030. And these SDGs, UN akawabeka wathi ufuna sangathi achievile konke lakubekile kulama 17 SDGs by 2030. It's only 6 years, and you look at how many years we've had to try and get there. It just shows ukuthi umuntu ulukhuni kangakanani, because most of these things dibonga ngithi ibantu ikakhulu nje ngeka climate change vele ingisinza mbamba ngoba as we fight it, yes, Africa is contributing just 4% global emissions, but what the other economies have done basa industrialize abasatfutfuka nyalo sekubekwa imithetho ukuthi industrialize salokuncishiswa salo singasabi nemafema thina besisabuye ukuthi sisetawuba nawo nathi sitawuthuthuka sibe ma first world country njengabo, because industrialization plays a key role ekuthuthukiseni emave emhlaba. And now as Africa sesibekelwe a red tape lethi nalamanye emave emhlaba no more industrialization at this level. Ngiyadibuta ke lokho ukuthi sisafuna lokuthuthfuka njengoba some of these SDGs ayithinza le ntuthuko sitawufika yini kule ntuthuko by 2030, especially as Africa. Yes, maybe bona kulawo entuthuko bangafika, but the human development, the lamalungelo lawo asabisaphuku sesenetimpi.
Yeah, thinking we're only left with 6 years. Na SDG number 1, no poverty. I think naleso sekashane kakhulu because poverty sesekhona lapha eveni, especially etindaweni ezisemakhaya lekungiyelo abayivetako tinhlangano efana nabo swaka ukuthi ngiyelo le welela ilenda ukuthi bamfana labancane bathi khanza mhlambe sebahlubeteka ngetebulile ngalokuthi kude le mali la ekhaya umfuso otkhanza sewujola mhlambe sewuthandzana nemvulo omdzala ngeke ukuthi ufuna sinkwa endlini ufuna school fees ufuna nani ya. So I think sisekhashane mngoni nasibuka usisele
but we do want to be optimistic, and usiyabonga nhlanganano fana bo UN that is computer every day through advocacy nale support, funding support bese bayi provided for umbukele ekhaya Lulu. Maybe lotsi bathini bosifisa ona Lulu, but it's 6 years, it's isikhathi lesincane to put things into perspective. Think about COVID-19, 2019, that's 5 years ago, and it feels like yesterday. That just shows how fast time flies. And los 6 years lona mncane kakhulu. With everything that's going on, we get lost in time. And by a blink of an eye, you realize, oh, it's 6 years later now. So we are praying for peace in the world. We are praying for development in the world. We are praying for mindset change in the world, and we are praying that my organizations la advocate for donating about mindset change, they are really successful in capacitating sive semaswati one ngaqala lapho ngoba ngiliswati before I'm a global citizen. Sive semaswati siyalalela sikuthathe nakulesifundiswa kona. But anyway, that's enough preaching. Sitawufuna it's on a lighter note. Sibuke temidlalo njengoba kungiyela sihlanu Fabrice Msonera, our sports journalist, will be sitting on this very same chair, to discuss some of the games that we are going to see over the weekend. We do want to start by looking at the UEFA Champions League, and that is not by any means showing disrespect to our domestic league. We are starting on the UEFA Champions League because it's the most recent games that we've seen. Indeed, we did see on the 8th of May Real Madrid play Bayern Munich, and that's a game that was played on Wednesday night. Real Madrid fans were seated on the inch of their couches, at the tip of their couches, praying for a win against a Bayern side that really showed relentlessness on the first leg of their game. And indeed, Real Madrid, per usual, when it comes to UEFA Champions League, I don't know what it is about Real Madrid, but you almost do not want to doubt that they will prevail and come out victorious. And indeed, 2-1 against Bayern Munich on the 8th of May, propelling them into a final against Borussia Dortmund, who managed to, for lack of a better word, bahlaze Kylian Mbappe, because he's one of the guys that has been, Malumin Ed Eswatini, is he the next guy in the same breath as Cristiano and Lionel Messi, looking at his future prospects. But this game made a lot of his fans really disappointed, and a lot of his haters really vocal at Eswatini. Maybe he's not that great, but it's just one game. But yes, it is the UEFA Champions League, a league that really tests who you really are. If you're great, we're going to see how great you are during such a tournament. But PSG just didn't manage to beat Borussia Dortmund, meaning that we will be seeing BVB against Real Madrid for the UEFA Champions League final. It's going to be a really, really interesting game. But we will also come back and look at our domestic league. Obviously, we've seen Ernest Mavuso saying we need a miracle as Green Mamba, as Mabani Solo is now 5 points ahead of Green Mamba. We'll discuss our local league as well as look at 37 of 38. That's the final let's say the final matches of the English Premier League. Everything is nail biting there as well. So mnanzi kakhulu ehlangothini lwebhola sibahlola emakethe kodwa sitabuya sichubeke nehlelo.
Hello everyone, my name is Mahu. Get the beat down on Saturday.
Usohle mahla siphinze sinamukele ehlelweni sibuke nadidi indzaba Eswati. Bafundzi besikolo lesiphakeme saseNvonjeni sibathembise kulimelela kahle live leSwatini emncintiswaneni wete-science letihambisana netebuchwephesha temanti letatiwa nge-aquilibrium competition. Abafundzi bathi kuba ingcenye yalomncintiswano kuyabasita ukuthi babe nemicondvo lovulekile ekuthenini bakhone kusombulula tinkinga ngekusebentisa iscience. Nabafundzi bamelela live bahambe embili emncintiswaneni wetikolo takuleli. Kanti-ke balibhekise eveni leNingizimu Afrika lapho lo mqhudelwano utawubanjelwa khona.
Lo mncintiswano lowesekelwa inhlangano yebakhi nabonjiniyela kuleli ngenhloso yekusita abafundzi ukuthi tifundvo te-science batisebentise kusombulula tinkinga lababhekana nato. Labafundzi-ke bathi bawulungele lo mncintiswano.
Sitophumelela because sithathe isikhathi lesithe sitilungiselela and besibona kuma-practices ethu ukuthi siya ngakhona.
Siyethemba ukuthi sitawubuya nalokuphathekako.
Joining such competitions is very beneficial for us as students because siyakhona apply lama skills leswathola kona compete so apply kuma daily life situations and problems. Okay, cause lana sikhuluma ngemanti sitokhona nathi ku-apply inkinga yemanti sikhona kusolve the scarcity of water cause zonke siyati ukuthi emanti vele ascarce sine sitokhona-ke kuwa-distributor sisebenzise the modern technology ukuthi siwa-distribute almost equally to all Swaziland citizens.
Vusi Sithebe thishela we-science walabafundzi uthi-ke labafundzi sebanawo umoya wekutethemba lokuniketa lithemba ukuthi batawuphumelela.
Kuyabaphakamisa nje vele nasemoyeni benda kahle esigabeni sekuthi bese kuyatiwa nje silaba hayi ngitona dicwayi kuba sikhuphule lesi confidence la kubo siyethemba lokuthi lela siyakhona sitafike siphumelele njengoba babantu labahlaba nabo vele ngiyabati dihlabana.
Umhloli we-science etiko letemfundvo uPhumlile Dlamini uthi-ke lo mqhudelwano ukhaliphisa emakhono e-engineering.
I-competition la khona abantwana bacecesha likhono labo ka-engineering lokusho ukuthi la kule competition le banikwa emanti banikwe ema-containers lamathathu bese ba-distributa lamanti equally kuwo onke lama-containers lang-3 lokusho ukuthi laba kugcizelelako noma laba kupractice-ako i-science la khona babuka ukuthi i-pressure yemanti kuhamba emapayipini kungenteka kanjani ukuthi lamanti noma asuka enzaweni yinye aya etindzaweni letehlukene ngema-altitudes shosi lenye isetulu lenye iphasi lenye isemkhatsini lamanti kungenteka kanjani ukuthi ahambe lamapayipini bese adistributeka ngekufanana kuwo onke lamabhakede.
Labafundzi bahamba nje leSwatini belikhutsata bantfu labasha ikakhulu emantombazane kutsi atingenele tifundvo te-science, te-maths kanye netebunjiniyela lokwatiwa ngekuthi ngu-STEM. Etindzabeni kubika Sontomlangeni eMbabane.
Amabandla lehlukene abambe tinkonzo tekwenyuka kwaJesu kanti-ke bafundisi bashumayele kakhulu ngokuthi emakholwa Jesu akawashiyi odwa washiye nemoya longcwele lotawubagcinisa ukuthi bakhone nekushumayela.
Lusuku lwangalesine, lusuku lwemashumi lamane Jesu avukile. Loku lusuku lolukhethekile enkholweni yeKristu. Emabandla lehlukile abambeke tinkonzo tekunyuka kwaJesu lapho kufundwe khona imavi latfolakala encwadzini yaLuka laniketa emakholwa sitfombe saloko lokwenteka Jesu nakanyuselwa kubabe wakhe.
Nitawugcwaliswa ngemandla nasafikile kimoya lwengcwele. Yaba bofakazi bami eJerusalema naseJudiya lonke naseSamaria kuze kube kusekugcineni kwemhlaba. Emva kokusholo kwanyuselwa ezulwini basambuka lifu lamsusa emehlweni abo. Bebe lokhu ke babukisisile etulu nakahamba Kwasebonakala amadodana amabili embethele etimhlophe emeceleni kwabo athi kubo madoda aseGalile nimeleni nibuke edulo. Lo Jesu lothethwe lapha kini wayiswa ezulwini uyawubuya futhi ngayo yona le ndlela njengoba nimbonile nje aya ezulwini.
We take a pause and reflect on our lives. Where we could see sesihambe sikhathi lesingaka 40 days since the resurrection. Impilo yethu yokukholo ihamba kanjani? Yebo ke siyalishumayela. Labanye enyenye balishumayela njengami ngoba ngifike nje lana ngimelela embulo bami. Labanye enyenye balishumayela emigwaqweni nasemadolobheni nasemabhasini futhi bayalishumayela. Labanye enyenye balishumayela ngempilo yakho. Uthi phela Francis Dongwe ishumayelo lengiyombamba ishumayelo letimpilo tethu.
Tinshumayelo temabandla omabili tikhutsate emakholwa kutsi atihlolisise kutsi solo abambe livangeli lona mbamba yini. Etindzabeni kubika Sondo Mlangeni, eMbabane.
Bongiwe nokuphiwa Nhlabathi lo ngisongcondvo ekubulaweni kwasomabhizinisi wakumathapha lo watiwa ngasifiso Simelane kuthiwa wahawukela impilo yebukhathikhathi lebeyiphilwa ngusikoni wakhe. Lokhu ngumkamufi wase wakha kelicebo lokuthi afane naye azuze kulomcebo waSimelane ngekuthi yambulale. Lokhu kucukethwe bufakazi lobufungelwe ngemaphoyisa. Leliphoyisa ke leliphenya lelicala lekubulawa ngesibhuku kwaSimelane.
Umsolwa lokungibongiwe nokuphiwa Nhlabathi kuthiwa nguye lo wahlanganisa abantu labende abacela bekubulala somabhizinisi wakumathapha Sifiso Simelane. Umbuso uyasiphikisa isicelo sokutokela ngephandle saNhlabathi lasifaya enkantolo lenkulu. Nhlabathi kanye nalabanye labane babhekene nelicala lekubulala mabili ekweba kanye nelekufumba. Lomunye webasolwa kusolwa usegcwele emahlathi. Ebufakazini nobufungelwe bekuphikisa lesicelo sokutokela ngephandle saNhlabathi iliphoyisa Ayanda Dlamini leliphenya lelicala lekubulawa kwaSimelane. Lathi inkantolo ukuthi umsolwa wati nakuyinyanga yaBhimbidvwane kulomnyaka lesetulu ukuthi umufi bekangumuntu losicebi. Umsolwa waphinze wati ukuthi umufi bekagcina lenye imali endlini yakhe leseBethani lapho bekahlala khona nesithandwa sakhe Mbali Mamba lebekade alungiselela kusilobola. Mbali ngusikoni wemsolwa njengaloku umsolwa enza ekhaya kubombali. Umsolwa waphinze wati ukuthi umufi bekanemali lenyenti lebekade sebhange njengaloku bekangasomabhizinisi ehlangothini letekuvakasha. Ibhizinisi yemufi etekuvakasha ifaka ekhathi lihotela kumathapha Gallery. Leliphoyisa leliphenyako lithi ngenyanga yaBhimbidvwane kulomnyaka lesetulu umufi omeme emalunga emndeni wakamamba ekhaya lakhe eliseBethani kutokudla sidlo sakusihlwa. Inhloso yakhe ukuthi bekafuna ukudibana nebasekhweni lakhe. Tisingakacali tingcude emalobolo Mbali ukuthi atotfola ukuthi bakamamba bagadzeni kulamalobolo. Lamalobolo bekumele abe mhla ti-18 kuBhimbidvwane kulomnyaka losetulu. Umseshi uthi umsolwa waba yingcenye yebantfu bakamamba labaya ekhaya kaSimelane. Umsolwa kuthiwa aseseke ekhaya kaSimelane waba nesikhathi lesihle kakhulu kwaba ngilapho lakathatha khona sishubo sekuthi naye ufuna ingcenye yalomcebo wemufi. Umsolwa kuthiwa khona lapho wazucabanga licebo lekuthi kaze yena angazuza njani kule mpilo lemnanzi lebeyiphilwa ngusikoni wakhe Mbali. Umsolwa usolwa ngekuthi wazucala ufuna abantu labatambambisa kufeza lelicebo lakhe. Umuntu oqala lokuthiwa waya kuye umsolwa wesihlanu selibhisigaga Dlamini enzaweni yaseMalkensi. Selibhikuthiwa wavuma wase uthi angeke akhone kwenta lo msebenzi ayedwa wase uthi utawufuna abantu labatambambisa. Umsolwa kuthiwa wase uchubekela kumngani wakhe lebekamati kuthi unesidingo semali naye wamtshela ngaleli cebo lakhe. Kuthiwa lo mngani wemsolwa naye wavuma ligama lemngani wemsolwa ligodliwe. Lo mngani naye wazucala ufuna abantu labangavuma kwenta lokucala. Umsolwa Njabulo Mabuza usacule etikanga naye wavuma kwenta lokucala. Lo mngani wemsolwa wasudibanisa Njabulo nemsolwa ezulwini. Njabulo watshela umsolwa Nhlabathi ukuthi naye ulungele lo msebenzi njengaloku adzinga imali. Njabulo naye wasuthembisa kufuna labanye abantu labatawenta nabo lokucala. Kuthiwa Nhlabathi wabatshela ukuthi lokucala kumele bentiwa angakashaya umhlati 18 enyangeni yaBhimbidvwane kulomnyaka lesetulu ukuthi bathathu wathi samba tetimali ngelanga lekwenta lokucala Njabulo washayela umuva wamtshela ukuthi ayilolo letolwethe emathaya ngakho akavele kumathapha bathi umuva nasekafikile endzaweni la kwente yakhona bucala asaqhukana Njabulo umunye webasola kuleli cala wachamuka ngemuva wemkhama umsola ngevice grip asebenzisa insimbi kuthiwana labanye basola beda bakhunga umufi tinyawo tandla kanye nemlomo ngesalutape umufi kuthiwa wetama kula kodwa wehluleka kani umufi wabacela ukuthi abangambulali kodwa bathatha imali kuphela umsolo watfola imali le-1500 emalangeni kulokucala bekubulawa kwasomabhizinisi umbuso ukuthi kuba kubanga ngomhobholo wanhlabathi umufi ngeke usaphila namanje obviously bashushisi kuleli cala limele ngilomkhosi Dlamini etindzabeni kubika Fortune Dlangamandla isembabane.
Mkhulu loneminyaka lengu-74 budzala wasemthombe ubekwe licala lokugagadlela umfana loyinfombatane loneminyaka lengu-15.
Umsola longuFilmoni Mkhabela loneminyaka lengu-74 wasemthombe uvele embi kwenkantolo yamanje yenhlangano ngekubekwa licala likwephula umthetho we-Sexual Offences and Domestic Violence Act 15 wamnyaka wa-2018. Ngekusho kwamaphepha senkantolo lomsola ugagadlela umntfwana loyinfombatana leneminyaka lengu-15. Kuthiwa lomsola wentele bucala mhla ka-2 kule nyanga lesetulu. Inkantolo itsite lomsola utawugcinwa ngumnyango wekucondzisa timilo netigwegwe kude kube ngumhla ka-30 kulesetulu asamele kuyoteka lelicala inkantolo lenkulu. Inkantolo ibute lomsola kutsi kukhona yini langafisa kukusho mayelana nekugcinwa kwakhe esitokisini. Lomsola utse kude langakusho kusengakefiki ilanga lekuteka lelicala. Inkantolo yeluleke lomsola kutsi uma anesifiso sekutokela ngephandle utawuncutfulisa kubosonhlala kahle ejele noma acasha ummeli. Ngakulokunye umsola longubanele Ndlovu loneminyaka lengu-20 wasemashaya ekhatsi uvele embi kwenkantolo yamanje inhlangana bekwelicala lekuphula umthetho we-Sexual Offences and Domestic Violence Act 15 wemnyaka wa-2018. Kuthiwa lomsola ugagadlela umntfwana loyinfombatana leneminyaka lengu-14. Kuthiwa lomsola wentele bucala mhla ka-27 ngenyanga yamabasa lendlulile nangemhla ka-6 kule nyanga lesetulu. Ngekusho kwamaphepha senkantolo lomsola wentele bucala ngaphandle kwekusebentisa kwekudivikela. Ngaleyo ndlela wabeka simangale ngotini yokutfola tifo tasecansini. Lomsola ucele inkantolo ukuthi amane atokele ngephandle kulelicala njengoba utawushiyeka esikolweni. Inkantolo itshele lomsola ukuthi ite amandla ekumnika imvumo yekutokela ngephandle lesicelo sewutawusenta inkantolo lenkulu. Inkantolo ibese ithi lomsola utawugcinwa ngumnyango wekucondzisa timilo netigwegwe kude kube ngumhla ka-30 kulesetulu asamele kuyoteka lelicala inkantolo lenkulu. Lobika-ke tindzabeni te-Eswatini TV nguThando Kuhle Mdluli ngisenhlangano.
Indvuna yenkundla yasemadla ngempisi Alex Thabetse ithi kuhlanteka nekuphatheka kahle kwemvelo kusho intfutfuko nenchubekela phambili yelive. Lokhu ukuvete uma emukela imigcoma yekugcina tibi lenikelwe inkampani yashukela iRoyal Eswatini Sugar Corporation.
Indvuna yenkundla yasemadla ngempisi Alex Thabetse ifanele ukujabula ngalokwentiwa yiRoyal Eswatini Sugar Corporation kule nkundla nakuleminye imimango leyakhelene nale nkampani kusukela kutenhlala kahle temphilo nakutemidlalo.
Namuhla sebayilethile ke imigqoma yetibi ikhona la bathi bahambisa lelivangele lithi hloba Swaziland hloba Ngundla hloba miphakathi yongana phindze futhi kube yindzaba yemvelo ukuthi imvelo imqwa kangakanani. Tsineke uyathi sibomakhane bawo lenkampani lenkulu yaseRes ngalangenda sikubosimunye seyeme kakhulu so iyayihambele la kithi emakhaya iyahambela konke bonkundleni isahamba iyabuka ukuthi lelive lihlobe kangakanani ubuye sine sakhene emaheke lamabili afaka bomananga nabomathamo ngala so tivakashi tiyayitingene khona tiyayibuka ukuthi live lihlobe kangakanani so nayo lenkampani lenkulu kayikhathi lethi ivakashi tiyafisa khamba zize tiyofika tiyobuka emshinini kwendakalani tiyobuka umoba indlela lihamba ngayo tivakashi enzaweni tourism so kufanele kuchamuka ivakashi ikhanze kuhlobile la eveni gqoma ngiqathi nasingayibamba siyibeke kahle siyibambe kahle lemigcoma itasisita lenkampani itawujabula kunenge tasilethela kona ngikhuluma nje nyalo ngalesithathu iyeta lana sine clinic la ngendasi ebhalekana ila ngendasi wenkundla eclinic sine clinic le clinic izuze emanti kuya lenkampani yaseRes so ubuke uyabuka lenkampani iyasikhathalela sisive yasikhathalela singiswaziland yakhathalela live uyabona nathi siyinkundla yasikhathalela iyeta njengalesa video itobuka lamandi liyanikela ngawo lenkampani la ngenda ebhalekane clinic ukuthi lamandi akhona saqale asebenzise kanjani ayasebenza enivele
Sabetse uqhubeka wacela sive ukuthi siyibambise lenkampani ngakutonke etinhlangothi nakuyo lemigcoma yetibi labayiphiwe ngiyo siyiphathe kahle kuthi ichubeke nekubasita nakusasa edindzabeni Eswatini TV ngibonga simakagule madla ngempisi
Kutemidlalo umphathi wenhlangano yemidlalo wema-Olympics kanye nemidlalo yema-Commonwealth Maxwell Jele uthi kwanyalo kusede ingijimi noma ke umdlalo wemidlalo lehlukahlukene wakuleli losatfola ithikithi lekuyawungenela imidlalo yema-Olympics yalonyaka imidlalo itawubanjelwa eveni lase-France kulomnyaka losetulu kanti ke kusele nje emalanga lang-78 kuphela ukuthi icale edolobheni lase-France.
Sekusele emalanga langemashumi lasikhombisa nesiphohlongo 78 ukuthi imidlalo yema-Olympics yalonyaka letawubanjelwa eveni le-France icale emave lahlukahlukene emhlabeni ayachubeka nekumemetela emacembu kanye nebadlali bemidlalo leyahlukahlukene lekubheka ukuthi bangenele le midlalo umbuto lomkhulu uthi engabe kulelo kukhona intingijimi letivele tithole lithikithi lekungenela le midlalo
kwanyalo nje kubuhlungu nje mhlambe kuveta lokuthi sisede athlete lesa qualifyile noma limit le qualification standard kwanyalo asachubeke ama qualifiers njengoba nje sitokhumbula lokuthi ama athletes ethu solo sisawa supporter kuwo ema qualifiers njengoba ngikhuluma nje nyalo sinema sprinters ethu noma ama athletes ethu aka-athletics la bheke eGreece kokompita kuma qualification events kanye nema-African Athletics Championships lato banjelwa eCameroon kule nyanga lesiya kuyo ya June kutobe kuma qualifiers ekugcina aka-athletics lapho sesimele kona nje kubuketa ukuthi ngabe kukhona lapha khona ku-qualifier nangabe bahluleka qualifier ngumaphi ama-universality slots lesikhona kwathola nema-athletes lato khona kungena kulawo ma-slots.
Le midlalo itawucala mhla tingamashumi-26 enyangeni yakholwane kude kube ngomhla 11 enyangeni yengci kulo setulu. Lobikela umsakazo wetithombe yeSwatini TV ngumpendulo Gumbi Mbabane.
Tingako ke tindzaba teSwati sibahlele emakethe siyabuya masinyane nehlelo.
Catch Eswatini Lifestyle Friday evenings at 6:30 p.m. on Eswatini TV. Hello, of course, this is Eswatini Lifestyle, and of course, this is your wonderful host, Chukiz Meaning, who's here to give you nothing but the best of the entertainment and lifestyle scene in the kingdom of Eswatini. Get the trending stories with your favorite stars of Eswatini in fashion, showbiz, food, travel, and events. They say when you're in doubt, which color do you wear? Orange. Simply follow Eswatini Lifestyle on our Eswatini TV pages and social media platforms. Don't forget to catch the show Fridays at 6:30 p.m. Repeat on Mondays at 9 a.m. on Eswatini TV, Spogo Semaswati.
Be sure to catch Business Watch every Wednesday between 2 p.m. to 3 p.m. where we feature the latest updates on business news, market trends, and exclusive interviews with industry leaders, as well as insights on emerging small and medium enterprises in the commercial sector. Business Watch, your business leader.
Welcome back. Sakuvusela nalosandza kwesivulela on our Friday edition of the Kusile Breakfast Show. Siyabonga ukuthi solo zinhletsene nathi lamhla ekseni. As mentioned, masingene hlelo ukuthi sizabe sikhuluma kabandi nge Bushfire Festival, M10 Bushfire Festival, which has partnered with the United Nations kuzama promoter imigomo yakamhlaba le khonsa the 17 UN Sustainable Development Goals. Sifuna ukukhuluma kabandi ke naye lapha programs communications and advocacy ka UN Sibusiso Mngadi kuva ukuthi what is the purpose of this partnership by medeleke evikini kuleli viki lesikulo ukuthi UN utaba promoter lama sustainable development goals kuphindze kube nama dialogues latawubuka tindzaba letfaya ekhatsi GBV, gender based violence, climate change kanye netindzaba letiningi letfaya ekhatsi yona food security. He joins me now via Zoom. A very good morning and thank you for joining us lamhla ekseni Mr. Mngadi. Sesema ukuthi ungiva kahle lo muhla network ikahle. Yes, sifuna ukuva nje ukuthi kahle kahle what is the purpose or the objective of the partnership ne M10 Bushfire Festival? Yini mhlambe lenibonile ukuthi nifuna kuze ni partnership nayo I M10 Bushfire Festival?
Thank you very much, and we really appreciate the opportunity to speak about this. It's a partnership with Bushfire. It's not the first time, of course. You'll remember that we started, we were calling it a marriage last week when we were launching. This partnership with Bushfire started last year during the promotion of 75 years of the Declaration of Human Rights, UDHR 75. So that's part of the whole agenda of the UN and governments to promote sustainable development in the world. And I think we saw the opportunity again this year to come stronger and promote the SDGs, given that we need to accelerate. As we can see, Agenda 2030 is left with about 5 years now. And countries, not just the Eswatini, are really not on track to achieve the SDGs. So we need to find ways, creative ways of making sure that we can still reach the goals despite the challenges that countries have faced, the global community has faced in terms of COVID, global tensions, and other problems that have actually affected the implementation of SDGs.
Yeah.
So this is an opportunity then to give another push of the SDGs as a country. We believe that by facilitating this visibility, we will really ignite and push everyone in that direction where we will still achieve the SDGs despite the challenges that we've faced.
Yeah, Mr. Mngadi, you've just touched on the progress report on implementing the SDGs and saying that you're only left with only 6 years until we reach 2030. Are we on the right track as Eswatini? I think you've just highlighted that most countries are still lagging behind on implementing some of the SDGs. But are we on the right track as Eswatini? Are we optimistic that nasifika kulo 2030 sitabe mhlambe siwa implemente like half of the SDGs?
Yeah, a difficult question to ask. I think we are on the right track. The issue is the pace. I think we of course, we need to move a little bit quicker to achieve the SDGs. And I was mentioning that globally, we know that all countries, as of 2023, in that report, all countries were at 15% on track of achieving the SDGs. In Eswatini, we are doing well in some areas, in particular the areas of climate action. But there are still areas that we need to fix. The issues of the economic issues, fixing the economy, youth unemployment. So there are a few things that we are doing well as a country, including in areas of education and health and climate change. But there are areas also that are still lagging behind. So we're on the right track. It's just that we need to move with some speed.
Yeah, when the RC was announcing the partnership between Bushfire and UN, he did mention that you, as an organization, you aim to inspire change and also empower communities and beyond. With this partnership, how are you? How do you want to achieve this? How will this be achieved?
All right. So for bushfire, we have 7 UN agencies that are involved. We are just facilitating as the UN Resident Coordinator's Office. So we have OHCHR, which is responsible for the rights agenda, UNDP for development, UNICEF for education, UNFPA for really rights of everyone, including mothers and children, IOM for migration, WFP for food security, and UNAIDS for health and well-being. So these partners have actually facilitated an arrangement for dialogues. Yeah, so we will have pre-festival dialogues, which are really an outreach to engage, in particular, young people on these topics. So we have like 5 topics, in fact 6. One on youth employability, another one on issues of peace, justice, and strong institutions, another one on health prevention, key populations, and human trafficking, and another discussion on GPV as a theme around the issues of gender, another discussion on food security, the last one being education and climate action. So all these are pre-dialogues that will happen in the tertiary institutions as of next week. I think we will be starting with the education one next week. So it's a whole lineup of activities that are going to be taking place just before the dialogue. And on during the bushfire itself, so we are again sponsoring the Bring Your Fire Zone. So more activities. This will culminate into more engagement at that level, where people will be coming in and seeing the stalls displayed in the various themes that we have just mentioned as well. So more discussions will also take place at the bushfire from the 31st to the 2nd of June again.
So for the dialogues, you're only engaging tertiary students. Have you considered also, high school students nabo babe part of the dialogue, just to get the insight on these issues that you've just mentioned?
Yeah, you're right. I think everything is still at planning stage. I think we already have an agreement with certain tertiary institutions, and the dialogues, when conceptualized, we will say they are actually regional dialogue. So we're taking them actually down to the grassroots. But as you know, sometimes you bite more than you can chew. So we'll see, and we will let you know which ones we can achieve this year. But yeah, I think the point is we will try to go as far down as possible with these engagements beyond tertiary.
Yeah. Ingabe kuva nje Mr. Mngadi ukuthi nje ushito ukuthi this is not the first time ni partnerisha nale festival nibamba lama dialogues. Ingabe beyinjani response ya last year? Yini mhlambe le nayitfola out of the dialogues that you had with the tertiary students, nizama ukutfola nje ukuthi ema solutions mhlambe alama issues lawa labo GBV nabo climate action kungaba yini ma solutions? How was the response in my dialogues last year?
It was great. I think that's why we're coming back this year. The response was actually good. I think for UN visibility, we really were happy with the mileage that we got. But not just UN. I think for us it was the issues. As we know, we also had dialogues last year, and these were streamed in social media platforms, and we saw the comments, we saw the interaction around these issues, and we felt that these discussions actually need to continue even beyond the period of the bushfire. So yeah, I think the reason we're coming back is because last year was very successful. Everybody understands that we actually need to talk more about these issues so that we can find the solutions that are required.
Yeah, kuma nasingena nje kulama SDGs nje Mr. Mngadi ngifuna kuvela ukuthi ngabe as a country ngiphi lesiva ngazothi mhlambe kukhona lesesikwendile lesisebentile ngakho because sitakhumbula ukuthi vele uhulumende naye solo uyasebenta with so much effort ukuzama ukuthi mas SDGs are implemented, especially indzaba ye poverty, which is one of tindzaba nje bese tiwelela ukuthi bantu babe ngama victims of GBV because they are hungry, bazama mhlambe kuthola kudla esiswini. Ngiphi nje mhlambe ama SDGs lesingathi sing Eswatini we've been able ukuthi si reach 50% or even more than 50%?
Yeah, difficult to say. You know, the issue of SDGs is
All right, Mbulesi, apologies there, network issues, but nje sisatozama ukuthi siphinde sichumane naye Mr. Mngadi. So lesiqhubeka nje nayo ema SDGs. The M10 Bushfire Festival has partnered with nebaga UN kuzama ukupromota yona lemigomo yaka UN. Mr. Mngadi, welcome back. Sicolisa kakhulu nje kumbukeli network issues lapho busaqhubeka nje usachaza ngekuthi Eswatini ingabe ngimaphi ama SDGs lesesikhonile lesingathi mhlambe sesifikile ku 50% ku.
Well, I wouldn't give you the figures as such, but I know what we're doing well with climate action. I think when we talk issues of infrastructure, for instance, in SDG 9, we're also doing well in those areas. So health, we are doing well. Education, we're doing well. Still lots of things to be done. We participated in 2022 in contributing a report as well that looks at the progress of the country. So we sort of know where we are as a country and where we need to fix things. The biggest issue is around the economy, as we have said, around the issues of youth engagement or youth employability. Otherwise, as a country, we're on track in all those issues. But like I said, the linkages, you cannot just focus on one SDGs. Is the entire package that we need to push, not just one.
But what role can we as society play in ensuring that Eswatini is implementing these SDGs? Are you able to kuthi khona inanziselwadi mhlambe emakhaya and communities ngema SDGs? Are they aware vele ukuthi kunemvo lekuthiwa ngema SDGs and amcoka kanganani, particularly indzawo letisemakhaya? Kuba khona mhlambe ama programs leniwa initiate as the UN kuzama nje kwanzisa lwadi ngawo lama SDGs?
Yes, I think what you will see this year, especially with bushfire, is that the UN works through other organizations. So we will have, in particular, when it comes to young people, we have a number of organizations of young people that we work with that are pushing the agenda for SDGs, for employment, and other issues. So yes, there is a big effort done by the UN agencies to take the SDGs to the people. But as you ask, also one would feel that we need to do more in raising awareness, and not just awareness, but also to activate from the community level and make sure that people understand also their roles and responsibilities to contribute. We see that a lot is being done by companies. They are changing. We can actually see the progress and in terms of adapting to new technologies that are protecting the environment. So we see a lot of progress in the country that needs to be celebrated as well. At the same time, we see that there are still gaps, especially in involving the rural communities to be part of this discussion.
Yeah. Mr. Mngadi ngidakhumbula ukuthi especially nakathandza nje kufika ama-SDGs vele bewaba khona lama-trainings, ama-workshops on tintatheli noma ke people in the media la Eswatini kuzama ukuthi nabo bafundziswe nabo bakhona kwenta tutori ngama-SDGs. Ingabe siyakhona yini kunibambisa tintatheli mhlambe nabo ukuthi banzise lwati just to raise awareness on ama-SDGs, and also nangabe khona la kushoda khona ama-gaps, how can we help ukuzama nje kwanzisa lelo lwati?
Yeah. Now, media is a very important partner who advance our SDGs, and we are sure this partnership will continue to be made strong. Leading to the SDG 2030 goal. And we know, Lulu, that at this point, kuna gaps, including within the media, because Google media, kuna issues of capacity as well that we need to. If you train someone last year, maybe that person has moved on to do other things. So we need to continue with the training, and in particular to understand the pressure that we have now of really accelerating, our run to 2030. So there's need to retrain. We cannot just say that people are aware already. We have to try and do it on a continuous basis. So we will be reviving those discussions with the editors forum and making sure that media and journalists are trained to actually be good partners that are capable of helping to push the agenda.
All right, so ngifuna sibuke nje ka health Mr. Mngadi, which is one of lama goals mhlawumbe la ihambisa embili. Just looking back at the COVID-19 effects, ingabe vele did it hinder a progress towards achieving lama SDGs? Ingabe vele kuslimate kanganani lokuthi ibe khona i-COVID-19 globally?
Yeah, not only for us, for the entire world. Everyone was affected by COVID-19. And I think now we're actually talking about the lingering effects of COVID-19. So for me, we are still battling with that. We are still trying to come out of that. So as we are saying, people lost jobs and maybe they still cannot find jobs again. There's the industries that actually were shut down because of COVID-19. So it's a lot that happened, but we are confident that we shouldn't give up. There's still a chance that we could achieve some, or at least most of the targets that we've set. So COVID-19, unrest, geopolitical tension, all of the global issues have actually affected the attainment of the SDGs.
Yeah, I think you did mention, Mr. Mngadi, ukuthi kutabe kunalama UN agencies la 7 and nguvubala na WFP World Food Program, and asibuya ngalana indzabeni nakhona food security nakhona ntokumela ukuthi in the country we were hard hit by a drought around 2015-2016, and estimates ayavete ukuthi it might come back a drought. Ingabe vele, how important is it ukuthi we discuss these issues and find solutions etindzabeni food security? What can we expect mhlawumbe kulawa dialogues aka WFP during the M10 Bushfire Festival?
Yeah, and one of the things I said last launch was the venue for the tertiary dialogues should begin at the University of Eswatini Luyongo campus, because that's where the brains are in terms of food systems and finding solutions to food security in this country. I think a lot has been said about what the country needs to do to ensure that everybody has food, nutritious food. So that discussion is ongoing. We, as a country, we participated in the food summit of 2021, the global summit of 20. So we have the ideas and we have the solutions. I think we are now at implementation stage, and we can see the improvements where the country really is taking solutions of making sure that we increase production and stop relying on food imports from South Africa and other places. So we're doing well. I think we need to continue to find ways of empowering onke maswati to be involved in production, in food production.
Yeah, I think also another crucial topic let dabe discuss on Jeglama dialogues. Part of Lama UN agencies UNDP na yotaba highlight inzaba ye high youth unemployment in Eswatini ngabe nayo leyo. How can we tackle it? Kuzama ukuthi vele bamphla basha mhlambe bakhona nabo ukuthi bathi sungulele ima business up.
Yeah. I'm not sure if I'm the one to say what should be done, but I think the good thing is that we've identified that this is a big issue for the country, and you can see all of the sectors are actually up and trying to draw their weight in that direction. So that is appreciated. Obviously, the UN right now has opened up a program to encourage young people to get experience through internships. So these efforts are actually helping, the young people to finally possibly get engaged. So it's a big discussion that needs solutions. We need, the financial institutions to be involved, to be able to take off their ideas. But we also need mentorship programs because, as a young person starting a business, you face a lot of challenges and difficulties. You need somebody that can hold your hand. So I think the ideas already are in place. So now it's just the how of how to implement this, and also appreciating that we need to collaborate more, even as development partners, private sector, and NGOs and government, to make sure that we actually focus on these issues of unemployment of young people can result in many other issues, societal challenges that the country can face. So the agency around this issue is so critical. So I'm happy that it's also a topic that we'll talk about.
Okay, so take us through nje Mr. Mgadi ukuthi naqala bushfire on the 31st to the 2nd of June ingabe yini esingayibheka yini lesingayigada ku stall saka UN just for bamphla bafisa ukuthi kuba part of the dialogues nokuthi yini labangayigada ukuthi itawendeka throughout the festival.
Okay, the themes remain the same. One thing that I didn't mention is about the Summit of the Future. Summit of the Future is really about the next summit in the UN headquarters down there in September. So we will have a stall that will talk about that and how we as a country can maximize our participation there, because that talks to the solutions for the next generation as well, but also solutions for the next coming years. But the other themes I've already mentioned, when you come, you will expect to go to a stall that talks about engagements around youth employability. We'll talk about peace, justice, and strong institutions. We'll talk about HIV prevention. We'll talk about GPV, food security, and education. So in all, you will choose where you want to go out of interest. And the agencies that we will be having there will assist in facilitating those engagements and dialogues during the bushfire itself as well, beyond just the dialogues. But when you come, so you will get more engagements. I think when you have, like you'll see the stalls, they will be based on those themes that I've mentioned. And then the agencies that are involved will also be there. And one of the things that we are doing as the UN is to partner the agencies. So you don't see just one agency, you see more than one that are participating in that particular theme. So I think if you come, you really appreciate in your area of interest, you can actually go around food security and you will see the partners that are implementing with the UN some of the programs around food security. So it's not just the UN, it's the UN and its partners as well.
All right, Mr. Ngati, just on a lighter note, utaba khona yini UNRC, Mr. Washira, just for people about often I'm trying to take my pictures, and also my country representatives, alama UN agencies, alamanya.
Yeah, I think we are organizing his ticket so that he's there. I'm sure he'll be there, and the heads of agencies are also encouraged to be there as well. So yeah, definitely we want to make sure that the leaders are seen as well as supporting this initiative. So they will be there. Let me just say that.
Right. Thank you so much, Iswangakulu, Mr. Mgadi's Katsako, so Mbweli. That was Sibusiso Mgadi from United Nations. They have partnered with the MTN Bushfire Festival 2024. They will have their stall at this year's festival. Laba ukutabe kunama dialogues ngetindzaba letiningi letfaya khathi GBV, gender-based violence, climate action, and also food securities, amongst many other issues. So do make sure you visit their stall at this year's Bushfire Festival. Let's take a break. Stay with us.
This Mother's Day, celebrate the one who's always been there for you. From May 7 to May 11, show your love and appreciation with the heartfelt gifts delivered right to her door. With Eswatini Post's Eswatini delivery service, sending your love is easier than ever. For just 50 emalangeni, will ensure your gift reaches your mom within the Mbabane to Manzini corridor. Make this Mother's Day unforgettable. Send your love with Eswatini delivery service.
Hey you! Yes, you. Have you paid your TV license?
Did you know that by paying for your TV license fees, you will be complying with the laws that govern television possession, and particularly the Swaziland Television Authority Act of 1983 and its regulations? It is a legal obligation.
Paying for your TV license can have a positive spin-off, as the money collected from TV license fees goes a long way in assisting Eswatini Television Authority procure appealing and relevant content to broadcast on the channel.
So now, these fees also increase purchasing of local content from independent producers, which helps ensure that the arts and film industry in the country is well supported thus far, ensures the creation of jobs for eMaswati. The payment of TV license fees goes a really long way in such endeavors as well as nation building.
A TV license costs 180 emalangeni per year per device, and for other accessories such as a decoder or njinja, it costs 50 emalangeni per device per year.
By paying for your TV license,
you will be doing the right thing.
Welcome back. Thank you for staying with us. These are your international news. The U.S. is expressing optimism that a ceasefire agreement in Gaza is within reach a day after Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu rejected a proposal deal that Hamas said it had accepted.
Palestinians mourn over loved ones killed in Israeli airstrikes on Rafah Tuesday, while thousands continue to flee following a limited Israeli ground operation overnight in the eastern part of Gaza's most southern city.
This operation will continue until we eliminate Hamas in the Rafah area and in the entire Strips area, or until the return of the first hostage.
Israel's operation in Rafah is intended to pressure Hamas. The militant group agreed to a ceasefire proposal on Monday, but Israel said the plan did not meet its demands to eliminate Hamas from post-war Gaza.
Because Israel's war objective was to make sure that Hamas doesn't control any Gaza anymore. The meaning is that Israel is going to basically to lose the war in that sense.
As Palestinians seek safety, negotiations between Israel and Hamas continue through intermediaries in Cairo. White House National Security spokesperson John Kirby on Tuesday expressed optimism.
A close assessment of the two sides' positions suggests that they should be able to close the remaining gaps. And we're going to do everything we can to support that process and achieve that outcome.
Not many analysts share that optimism. Beyond swapping hostages for peace, both Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu and Hamas leader Yahya Sinwar are looking toward their own political survival, said former U.S. negotiator for the Middle East Aaron David Miller via Skype.
In a conflict where two combatants believe that the stakes are existential, that vital national interest, or in the case of Sinwar, his personal survival is at stake, the influence of external parties is limited.
The stakes are also high for President Joe Biden, whose electoral success in November is in part tied to reaching a ceasefire.
And my commitment to the safety of the Jewish people, the security of Israel, and its right to exist as an independent Jewish state is ironclad, even when we disagree.
Hamas has warned Israel there will be no ceasefire if military action continues in Rafah.
In a sharp escalation of pressure on Israel's war conduct, the Biden administration paused the shipment of weapons to Israel amid mounting concern about its plan to expand a military operation in Rafah.
As casualties mounted in Gaza, the Biden administration warned in early April that U.S. support for Israel's war efforts would come with conditions unless it took concrete steps to protect civilians. With Israel launching its operation earlier this week in Rafah, in the southern part of Gaza, where 1.3 million civilians are sheltering, the U.S. warning came to fruition on Wednesday.
We are currently reviewing some near-term security assistance shipments in the context of the unfolding events in Rafah.
It's the first time the U.S. leveraged a weapons transfer to influence Israel's war conduct since Hamas' October 7 terror attack. Human rights groups have long demanded the U.S. stop weapons transfers, accusing Israel of using them in violation of humanitarian law. The suspension was welcomed by progressives in Biden's Democratic Party, but criticized by Republican lawmakers, including Senator Lindsey Graham.
You want to micromanage the war? You know, we dropped 2 atomic bombs on the Japanese after Pearl Harbor. Did anybody in America really worry about that?
The U.S. first considered withholding arms last month as Israel seemed closer to a decision on Rafah, a senior administration official said. Because the Israelis did not fully address U.S. concerns, the administration decided to pause the arms transfer last week. This includes 1,800 bombs, each weighing 2,000 pounds, about a ton, and 1,700 bombs weighing 500 pounds, around a quarter of a ton each. Under review are transfers of Joint Direct Attack Munition kits that convert so-called dumb bombs into precision-guided munitions. Just a day earlier, President Joe Biden underscored his support for Israel.
And my commitment to the safety of the Jewish people, the security of Israel, and its right to exist as an independent Jewish state is ironclad, even when we disagree.
His administration recently approved $827 million worth of weapons to Israel. At the same time, it missed a Wednesday deadline to submit a report to Congress on whether Israel is violating humanitarian law while using American arms.
We continue to work to finalize the report. We expect to deliver it in the very near future.
Even as Israel moves into Rafah, negotiations continue to end hostilities, along with the release of hostages held by Hamas in exchange for Palestinians detained in Israeli jails.
Turkey's decision last week to stop all trade with Israel until Israeli leaders reach a permanent ceasefire in Gaza is likely to hit Israel's economy hard. Adding to those concerns are signs Turkey is encouraging other nations in the Islamic world to do the same.
Turkey's ports are now closed to all Israeli trade. Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdogan says the embargo will only be lifted if there's a permanent ceasefire in Gaza. Erdogan on Tuesday called on the international community to put greater pressure on Israel, a move that analysts warn will have wider consequences.
Turkey became the first country globally to essentially impose a total trade embargo on Israel, including exports and imports. Turkey is likely now to essentially try to leverage this stance to convince possibly other like-minded countries in the Islamic world, in the Arab world, to follow its lead.
Last year, Turkish-Israeli trade was worth nearly $7 billion, of which more than $5 billion was Turkish exports. Israeli Foreign Minister Israel Katz condemned the embargo, pledging to find alternative suppliers. But analysts warn the Israeli economy will still suffer.
We see it from automobiles to food to textiles to metals. Really very, very diverse set of things that Israel imports from Turkey. Of course, there are replacements. You can have other markets supplying Israel. But it will probably take time till Israel finds these replacements, and it will cost more.
Israel relies heavily on Azerbaijani oil that is piped to Turkey's Ceyhan port and then shipped to Israeli refineries. Azerbaijan is an ally of both Israel and Turkey. It remains unclear how the Turkish embargo will impact its sale of oil to Israel. But analysts warn a cut-off of supplies could have severe repercussions for Ankara.
This will make Turkey and Israel put the relationship in enmity, in hostile situation, which will be for long years difficult to heal again. But if that happens, this will also affect the relations adversely with Azerbaijan of Turkey, not only with Israel. With Israel, as I said, Israelis will say, fine, we take note of that, but we have other options.
Trade has historically been the glue that helps maintain Turkish-Israeli relations at times of high tension. Still, analysts predict the current high level of animosity means the trade embargo won't be lifted soon.
Normalization, political normalization between Turkey and Israel would only happen if there is a different government in Israel, and the lifting of the trade embargo will be tackled then.
However, the embargo's repercussions may extend far beyond the current governments in Turkey and Israel. Observers warn that restoring trade and trust could take a considerable time.
Commencement ceremonies are being scaled back or cancelled at U.S. universities because of security concerns over pro-Palestinian student protests. While some campus demonstrations have resulted in concessions, others have led to violent confrontations.
It's a disappointing end to the school year. After student protests over the war in Gaza led to violent confrontations with police, New York's Columbia University canceled its main commencement ceremony, opting instead to hold smaller celebrations at individual schools on campus.
I think we've all had a really hard last few weeks, and for it to end this way, I mean, in the grand scheme of things too, like we started online as freshmen, so in totality, it's really difficult to end this way.
Some are criticizing Colombia for making the move after clearing out a protest encampment.
The university has been saying in a lot of the emails addressed to the students and the rest of the university community that the encampment and every other action that protesters were taking was the reason that they were threatening to cancel commencement, and the encampment has been cleared for a significant amount of time now.
As pro-Palestinian protests swept across U.S. campuses, some universities rushed to update their policies on free speech and protests.
I think this is definitely a wake-up call for universities that perhaps may not have had to enforce their protest policies to an extent that they had to do the last couple months.
Other U.S. college administrations have agreed to negotiate with students. At Rutgers University, this resulted in the school agreeing to add an Arab cultural center, as well as to other concessions, in exchange for the voluntary dismantling of the protesters' encampment.
This is obviously a very hot-button political issue, and I think students just want to be heard. So giving the students a seat at the table, allowing them to have a say in what happened, I think that's a great idea.
Many students have called for universities to divest from Israeli businesses whose interests are tied to the war in Gaza. Not an easy task, experts say.
Divestment becomes more complicated simply because of the way that funds are invested. It's even spread as far as, Apple and Google, who have business in that part of the Middle East. I think 90% of the S&P companies are involved in some kind of, business. So how do you really break that out?
But student concerns shouldn't be dismissed either, she says. And universities should be transparent about their actions.
Sharing what we're doing and helping students and others understand what it is that we're doing, and most importantly, why we're doing what we're doing and why we're making the decision that we're making.
The University of Southern California has also canceled its commencement ceremony. At the University of Michigan, protesters briefly disrupted commencement services there. Student protests may have a storied history on college campuses, but it seems there are still lessons to be learned about how to handle demonstrations in a way that all sides can support.
The Hamas attack on Israel on October 7th and the resulting war in Gaza led to a dramatic increase in anti-Semitism worldwide in 2023, a new report revealed. In the U.S., the Biden administration recommitted to the security of Israel and the safety of the Jewish community.
This ancient hatred of Jews didn't begin with the Holocaust. It didn't end with the Holocaust either.
At the U.S. Holocaust Memorial Museum's annual remembrance ceremony at the U.S. Capitol, President Joe Biden had a message for American Jews and the State of Israel.
Let me reassure you, as your president, you're not alone. You belong. You always have and you always will. And my commitment to the safety of the Jewish people, the security of Israel, and its right to exist as an independent Jewish state is ironclad, even when we disagree.
The Anti-Semitism Worldwide Report for 2023, published Sunday by the Anti-Defamation League and Tel Aviv University, revealed a 103% increase over the previous year in acts of violence, vandalism and harassment targeting American Jews.
Unprecedented levels of anti-Semitism engulfed Jewish communities in capitals all over the planet. It was the worst year for anti-Jewish hate in America that we've ever seen since we started doing this work 45 years ago.
According to the report, nearly 3/4 of American university students have witnessed an anti-Semitic incident in some form since the beginning of the academic year. Many pro-Palestinian protesters, however, insist they are not anti-Semites. Zoe Reagan is a pro-Palestinian protester at the University of Washington in Seattle.
We have a lot of Jewish students amongst us, amongst the organizers here. This isn't about anti-Semitism. This is about being staunchly anti-Zionist, because there are people who are being displaced from their land and exterminated with U.S. taxpayer dollars.
Noah Tishby, co-author of the new book Uncomfortable Conversations with a Jew, says the term Zionism, which simply indicates Jews' right to their own home in the land of Israel, has been hijacked and demonized.
There's nothing wrong with criticizing Israeli government policies. That is not what is happening on campuses in America right now. They literally say resistance by all means necessary. They are praising October 7th. These people are calling to take down the single Jewish state in the world.
Tishby says while Biden's staunch support does make the community feel safer, it doesn't take away her conviction that another Holocaust could happen again if hateful trends are left unchecked.
October 7th felt to the Jewish community like a repeat of the Holocaust. When we heard the same stories of mothers hugging their children while they're being burnt alive, and children and teens and kids hiding in cabinets, and decapitation and mutilation and rapes, I call it the atrocities of October 7th and the atrocities of October 8th. Because October 7th happened, and it took a little less than 2 hours for the anti-Zionist, anti-Israel, anti-Semitic organizations to start praising it.
She says that anti-Semitism is also often an indicator of the presence of deeper problems in a society, and that seeking a scapegoat rarely stops with one group only.
In the 2024 U.S. elections, there will be 2 million more Asian American voters than there were 4 years ago. According to the New Research Center, VOA reports on how Asian American lawmakers are getting out the vote.
Asian Americans are the fastest growing group of eligible voters in the United States, according to the Pew Research Center, but they are not uniform in their politics. Christine Chen is executive director of the nonpartisan Asian Pacific Islander American Vote Group.
So typically Indians and Japanese Americans are biggest supporters of Democrats, and Vietnamese Americans are actually large supporters of Republicans. Now, Chinese Americans, they have shifted from being Democrat to now their largest identification is independent. So what that is also telling me is that there's not enough engagement by the political parties and the campaigns to be able to educate them on the issues and what their campaign actually stands for.
Michelle Steele was born in South Korea and raised in Japan. The Republican congresswoman represents parts of California's Orange County and has Vietnamese language content on her website, as her district is home to one of the largest Vietnamese American communities in the United States.
You just go out there, each community, and you reach out in different way. Like, for Vietnamese Americans, I have 5 outeyes, and you wear their outfit. You go into Filipino community, I wear sari, and you know what? You do all these things, and they know that you are one of them.
Steele says she and her supporters knocked on more than 190,000 doors during her re-election campaign 2 years ago.
That's the way you reach out to Asian American communities. It's all same for, you know what, in my district, we speak 7 different languages, but they all say the same thing.
That door-to-door campaigning is especially important for Asian voters, of whom more than 70% used mail-in ballots and early voting in 2020, according to Chen.
It's because when you have a mail-in ballot, you can sit at your kitchen table, talk to your family and friends about the issues, about the candidates, and really be able to get the translation help and be able to not be under pressure to be able to figure out who you're going to vote for.
The importance Republicans are placing on Asian American voters concerns Grace Meng, a Democratic U.S. Congresswoman who represents a district in the New York City borough of Queens.
Well, I think there's been an increased sense of urgency lately because we have seen the Republican Party, some of their candidates doing that type of multilingual outreach. And so we've been saying to our own Democratic leaders and candidates, like, look, hey, we can't wait anymore. The other side is catching on, and we need to make sure that we're doing that outreach so people know which party truly stands and represents their values.
At the neighborhood Min Kwan Center for Community Action, Sandra Choi is Civic Participation Director.
We work on it year after year here, building political power for immigrants, for Asian American immigrants, for working class communities, but especially for the 2024 election where there is so much on the line. We know that this is the moment to really mobilize our communities to understand their power in building something bigger, a bigger future for all of us this year.
Pew Research projections say 15 million Asian Americans will be eligible to vote this November. More than half of them live in just 5 states: California, New York, Texas, Hawaii, and New Jersey.
In Barentsburg, Norway, a coal mining town in the high Arctic, Ukrainian residents lived side by side with the Russians. Since Russia's full-scale invasion of Ukraine, however, Ukrainians have left the town after finding themselves in conflict with the Russian community.
Barentsburg,
a coal mining town in the high Arctic. Here, Russian flags and Soviet-era throwbacks are common, like this bust of Lenin overlooking the harbour. But Barentsburg is not in Russia, it's in Norway. Barentsburg is situated in the Norwegian archipelago of Svalbard, more than 600 kilometres north of Norway's mainland. Because of the island grouping's unusual legal status, people from any nationality can settle here. Russians and Ukrainians historically made up most of Barentsburg's approximately 400 residents. But that changed in 2022 when many Ukrainians left. Katerina Shabratska is a Ukrainian who left Barentsburg before 2022, the year of Russia's full-scale invasion of Ukraine. She now lives in Longyearbyen, the major Norwegian settlement on Svalbard. Many Ukrainians moved to Longyearbyen from Barentsburg after the start of the full-scale war.
2022 changed everything. They didn't want to spend time there anymore.
Yes.
Yeah, because it was a lot of bomb for 2022.
Yes.
Yeah, and I feel it, and I knew it, so I also was like, what the really to talk with the Russian people anymore.
Okay. Shabratska says tensions in Barentsburg started before 2022, and some Russians and Ukrainians had moved the year before.
They moved 2021 because there was a not so nice situation with Navalny.
Russian opposition politician and anti-corruption activist Alexei Navalny returned to Moscow from exile in 2021 and was immediately arrested. He died in February at a remote Arctic penal colony. Locals say many in Barentsburg were vocal supporters of Navalny, while others were supporters of Putin, causing tensions to rise. Members of the Russian community in Longyearbyen told VOA they are now afraid to talk about the situation, as they still have family in Russia. The Russian special consul in Barentsburg declined a request for an interview. Norwegian locals say relations between the Norwegian and Russian settlements on the island were historically good, even during the Cold War. But that changed in 2022, when shared cultural events were stopped and business ties between Barentsburg and Longyearbyen were severed.
Maybe because during the Cold War, it wasn't like a full-scale war with killings all over. Maybe that is part of it. What we see in Europe now is not what we saw through the Cold War, right? This is a full-scale bombing nightmare, which have really affected people here as well.
Katerina Shabratska says she and the rest of the community of 40 or so Ukrainians in Longyearbyen do what they can to raise money for the war effort back home.
Here we did dinners here, we did big concerts here, we did lunches here. That's how we work together.
Nearly a century ago, the Svalbard Treaty established Norway's sovereignty over these Arctic islands, made them open for all to live here visa-free, and prohibited military activity. There have been no open hostilities between members of the Russian and Ukrainian populations. But the war in Ukraine has created tensions, in some ways resembling a Cold War here, and a new Iron Curtain has fallen between two communities that call Svalbard home.
3 decades ago, the breakup of the country of Yugoslavia led to 10 years of conflict involving Serbian nationals fighting against the former Yugoslav republics of Croatia, Slovenia, and Bosnia and Herzegovina. Millions of people were displaced and hundreds of thousands were killed and wounded.
On Croatia's west coast, the HRVI Nemo Adriatic Diving Club was founded as a diving center for wounded Croatian military veterans. It is hosting Ukrainians for the first time, among them defenders of Mariupol and Bucha.
In 1991, when we were at war, Ukraine was among the first countries to recognize the independence of Croatia. I remember the moment we were informed about this on the front lines, and I still get goosebumps when I think of it.
20 years ago, former sniper Rinat Sipovets founded this diving club together with his military comrades. Some of the wounded men here say diving is their therapy.
Diving is about self-discipline, the ability to control breathing and to calm oneself down. It's like meditation. You could replace a therapist with it in a way. Currently, with one leg and the opposite arm left, I'm searching for my diving style. You need to practice and work hard to find it.
Mikhailo Yurchuk, a sergeant with the 95th Brigade, participated in battles near Izum in the Kharkiv region. 6 months after diving in the Adriatic Sea, Yurchuk met with Croatian instructors again, this time in a pool in Lviv. His mentor, Boran Martic, is also a veteran and taught Yurchuk how to get comfortable in the water.
I had never seen a case like Mikhailo's before. He requires a special approach. When we were just starting, I was more afraid than he was.
Most Croatian diving instructors have combat experience, including the defense of Vukovar in September 1991. They say when a veteran communicates with another veteran, it is path toward healing.
Constant anxiety is always present, and it's extremely important to teach yourself to calm down. I see myself when I look at the young guys we work with.
By the end of this project, Croats and Ukrainians will meet in the water at least twice. The group is forging a path toward healing and creating friendships that will last far beyond the war.
It's 26 minutes after 7. We've come to the end of our international news. Thank you for staying with us. Let's take a break. We'll be back just now.
Renewal of TV licenses for 2024 is now open. Here is a quick reminder. A viewer's TV license costs 180 emalangeni per device. Other accessories such as decoders and set-top box cost 50 emalangeni per device. For traders and repairers, TV license costs 300 emalangeni per business area. And now, to pay your TV license, use these following methods. You can use MTN Mobile Money with the number 762222000 or dial *007 *3 *7 hash. Or you can use Eswatini Imali. And you can pay our TV license at any post office in the country. Another option is you can use any NetBank branch using our TV license account number 119900430037. Don't forget, when paying for your viewer's TV license, reference with your PIN at all times. And when paying for a retailer TV license, reference with your TIN at all times. For more information, call us on 7802-4543 or 34050163 or 34020879. And you can send us a WhatsApp message on 762222000.
Hello everyone, my name is Mahu. Get the beat down on Saturday.
welcome back. Singena sports segment. Fabrice is here. Fabrice, welcome to the program. I want us to start with the UEFA Champions League today. But we start with the most recent games. Tuesday we saw BVB play PSG, eliminating Mbappe, and then we saw Bayern Munich failing to beat Real Madrid. And it was expected, so to speak, if you want to say. June 1st, 3 weeks from now, I believe, we'll be watching the final.
Yeah, and then I can't wait to see who takes it between Jude Bellingham or Jadon Sancho. Every side, there's an English player, which is good. But more than anything, you have to say that Madrid continues to show why they are the top European club. And then I think what you saw on Wednesday when they won the game, I think, just they all decided to take the 15 number shirts, and I think it counts how many times they have reached the finals. What shows that this team is a big club. I think up to, is it 78 minutes, was still 0-0. And then I think Bayern scored. After Bayern scored, then they came in just 2 goals. And the response, the way they responded without, panic, without just being worried, it shows the experience they have. And I think it was in everyone's mentality to say, once they get on home soil at Bernabeu, they would do what they do best. And it's just qualify for the final. And I think majority of people were saying that this was the final before the final, because Bayern is, I think, after them, there is AC Milan, there is also Liverpool. After them, Bayern is the biggest club in Europe in terms of Champions League after them. So you can imagine how this game meant for them.
Can imagine, indeed. I remember the glory days of Ribery and Robben. Man, that team was unstoppable. But Real Madrid, I don't know what it is about Real Madrid, man.
It's a statement,
Yeah, for them, when it comes to UEFA, they can't afford to make mistakes. Even if you score first, they prove to you that UEFA has become a Real Madrid kind of tournament.
But credit also goes to Carlo Ancelotti, the coach, because you look at the experience he has. I think now Ancelotti is the only coach to win the trophy as a player. Went on to win it as a coach with AC Milan, and then also went to win it as a coach with Madrid, because when he wins this, I think it's going to be his 3rd as a coach, because he won it with AC Milan, he won it with Real Madrid, he might win this one. So you can imagine what it means to him, and what he's done with the team, with now talks that Mbappe is coming, then it says what they are capable of.
I'm being reminded that Zidane won it 3 times as a coach and as a player.
No, but wait. Zidane didn't win it with different clubs, but AC Milan, the thing with Carlo Ancelotti, he did with AC Milan as a coach as well. And then he won it as Real Madrid, because what people don't really forget, the days of Bokaka, and then when AC Milan won it, Carlo Ancelotti was the coach. So the difference is with Zidane did it with as a player and as a coach, because even Pep did. Pep won it as a Barcelona player and won it as a coach. But now with Carlo Ancelotti, he won it with 2 different clubs as a coach and as a player. So it's a statement on its own. Yeah, it's a statement. But you have also to give credit to what Tuchel showed yesterday. On Wednesday. In terms of what the performance of the team.
So Guardiola won it with City.
Yes, we won it with
Barcelona.
City. Yeah.
As a coach and as a player.
Yeah. Oh, that's a good one. That's a good one.
I was tipped myself.
Wait. It's not the same, because Ancelotti still has a record. Wait. I don't know how you're digging these researches. Wait. But Ancelotti hasn't won it only. You look at the numbers, how many times Ancelotti has won it. Ancelotti has got more than Pep Guardiola. He doesn't have 2. Ancelotti doesn't have 2. I think he must have 3 or 4. 3. And then he has 1 as a coach. Yeah, Guardiola has 2. I think there is a record that he has. And he holds the record of reaching more finals than any other club. So, any other coach, I mean. So you can still remember that he has done it as a coach. There's a stage where he is.
Guardiola still has a chance to do it in the next few years.
Yeah, he still has a chance to do it. And Ancelotti, if anything goes by, I think they're saying that he might leave the club. So, but I wish he could stay at the club, because he still has a lot to show and to explore. With Mbappe now coming, who knows? They could even take 2 more, 3 more.
Talking about Mbappe, let's talk about Mbappe. Really disappointed his fans and excited his haters on Tuesday, failing to, show up against BVB, 1-0 defeat. What's your sentiment to Mbappe? And I'm sure it doesn't take anything away from him being one of the most wanted players by a lot of clubs, but Real Madrid still being that team that is at the top of securing him.
Financially, for PSG, I heard people talking about a loss. Financially, for PSG, it's not a loss because they were paying him £72 million per year.
That's a lot.
Per week, he was getting paid 1.3 million. Euros, yes, euros, yeah, 1.3 million. So you can imagine he getting paid $1 million per week.
A week.
But I think he took long to make that decision. I think after the World Cup 2018, not 2020, 2018, after winning that World Cup with France, I think that was the moment. You can imagine where he could be right now if he was at Madrid. So I think he took long to make the decision. But at the age of 25 now, he leaves. Probably next season things start getting getting better for him. Then you can start maybe mentioning Ballon d'Or at the age of 27. Can he win 3 or 4 in a row? We have to wait and see. But remember, all the biggest players we've seen, by the time they were 25, they had already won a Ballon d'Or. We can talk about your Cristiano, talk about your Messi, you could talk about some of the well-known faces, Zidane. By the age 25 is the peak moment of a career where you have to start winning big. And then I think he also realized that, it's not about the money anymore. I can go to Madrid, they might maybe not give me what PSG was giving me, but I don't think now it's the money for him, because he can see that if I want to be in the records as one of the biggest players in the world, I need to win the UEFA Champions League. I probably need to win the Euros this year with France, and then I need to win the Ballon d'Or. Once he wins the Ballon d'Or, then he's going to start thinking, how many can I take? But, but I don't think even this year he showed anything in terms of Champions League. I wasn't really impressed with his performance, especially against PVP in both legs. He didn't really come to the party. But being a player, who is always big, who knows? He can change his story next season.
Yeah.
But now the debate is going to have a really, really heavy season, Esfiso, because right now we're talking about him probably playing the France, the France Cup, like the sort of, France Cup towards the end of the month. And then from there, he has to go with France to the Euros. Immediately, once the Euro finishes on the 14th of July, he has got a week to prepare, because he has to play with France at the Olympics, because they're hosting the Olympics. When the Olympics finishes on the 8th of August, probably Madrid, the season starts on the 15th. They're going to have to give him maybe the entire August to rest. Maybe he starts in September. So he's going to have a very, very busy schedule. He doesn't have much time to rest. But come August, when the league starts, probably going to get 2 to 3 weeks rest. I think he's going to perform. I think he's going to show. And there's still that debate, which number does he get? Because now Modric is leaving Madrid. Modric wears number 10. You can't take Vinicius, tell him bring number 7. I don't think it's going to happen.
7, that should be retired, by the way.
Yeah, 7 that should be retired. I don't think Vinicius would give number 7 easily. So they might give him 10.
Yeah.
Because 10 is the number that he wears with France national team. But then you have to put question marks, because reports are suggesting that even Bellingham had suggested 10. So we have to wait and see. So in Bellingham right now, Mbappe is not yet that. Right now in Madrid, they just love him. But when Mbappe comes, the story might change.
It might be
it might be different. They love him right now. So we have to wait and see. There's that debate of shirt numbers, and we have to wait and see which shirt is going to wear. But going to Madrid, what a statement! What a club it's going to be.
Let's talk about Madrid and Borussia Dortmund. Real Madrid, the most successful club when it comes to the UEFA, with 14 of them. It is quite a record, and they might get 15.
They might.
If they beat Borussia June 1st.
Yeah,
Let's talk about this game. What are we expecting here?
More than anything, I think I don't want to say it's going to be an easy day for them, but it's going to be a good game. You look at the German football, that type of, but you look at the teams they face. I mean, for me, I've always said, if you beat the best, then you are the best. The journey of Dortmund is not that hard as the journey of Madrid. Madrid had City in the quarterfinals. You had Bayern in the semi-finals. That's enough. That's enough to make a statement. Marcos Rios also retiring at the end of the season after 12 years at the club, so he wants to finish on a high note. Now, playing a final at Wembley, it's one of the biggest stadiums, beautiful stadiums in Europe. So I think, yeah, they stand a chance by,
Real
Madrid. Yeah, they stand a chance. I think I can
I'll
give
be
them
with you
15 trophies. Yeah.
Much as I hate Real Madrid, man.
Yeah, but they're
So
showing
their
what they
chances
can
are
do,
really
yeah.
good.
If you can beat them, train them.
And that gives me, it allows me to talk about our domestic league, because I think even there, you were rooting for Buffaloes, I was rooting for Green Mamba. But Swallows, as much as we hate them, they're looking
It
good.
seemed that we did hate them, but yeah, we were just giving predictions.
Yeah. Coach Enes Mavuso, on record, has said that they haven't lost any hope. Obviously, Mbabane Swallows 5 points clear ahead of Green Mamba. And you look at the weekend, these games, Fabrice, this fixture. I want us to look particularly at Mbabane Swallows, and I know we did discuss that it looks easier than the games that they've played.
More than anything, yeah.
Yeah.
Especially, but we're talking about what they need now in terms of their remaining games. They have a game against Eswatini United, which I think they won't struggle. Yes, Eswatini United is fighting for relegation, but I don't think they will struggle. Then after Eswatini United, they've got Young Buffaloes. But by the time they get to Young Buffaloes, they could be champions already. If they win their game against Eswatini United or they play a draw, they could be champions. So what did we learn from this league? We learned that hard work, consistency, because look at when Singzini is now. They're playing Denver. If they win the game, who knows? They could even finish in the top 3, and they have that chance of finishing in the top 3. So Swallows, supporters have actually started talking about how Mkuzweni is now their home ground, because most of their big games and their big wins and their heavy goals were scored at Mkuzweni. Remember the game against Seabirds, where they scored over 7 goals. So you can imagine what it's been for them. I mean, look at the run in 5 games.
Immaculate.
Yeah, immaculate. In 5 games, win. Then you've got Green Mamba, that defeat against Singzini, and at that draw, was it against Ilovo? Yeah, I think so. That defeat against Singzini, then it shows that they're out of the rest. You have to say mathematically, like we always say, so they still can win it, because if Swallows lose their next 2 games, which is highly unlikely, then they can be champions. They have to win their 2 games and get to 50 points. But I don't think they will lose that game, because just Swallows, a draw with the Eswatini United, they are 50 points. Whatever the case, remember we look at head-to-head. We don't look at the goals in our local league. Then they have that chance of winning the first title in 6 years, because their last league title was in 2018. Go to Africa, they have been talking about it. But I've been impressed with a couple of clubs. Fiso, number 4, I've been impressed in Singleton Hospitals. Number 7, I was impressed. Number 8, I was impressed, Madlenya. And number 9, Rangers. The job that was done by Coach Mtunzi. Those teams have impressed him, because Rangers and Madlenya and Ilovo and just maintaining that position, avoiding relegation at this stage of the year, then shows that the league is really quite difficult. But we have to go down there with the 2 teams from Manzini. I heard Coach Musa Manyatsi on the news highlighting that they still stand a chance. We'll see they can avoid relegation. But facing Singleton Hospitals this weekend, and then you have your last game against Manzini Wanderers, I have to say they are very slim chances, which I think if the 2 teams go down 13 and 14, then you've got a chance to see Wanderers once again next season in the MTN Premier League, where supporters were actually, crying that the team, they're just watching it going down. But we might have a situation where they might be safe.
I think me and you have just agreed that Mbabane Swallows only need 2 points on their last 2 games, and that's against Eswatini and Young Buffaloes. Young Buffaloes, by the way, still nursing hope as well for the league title.
I don't think Buffaloes, you can really count them, because even if they win their next 2 games, they are 49 years head-to-head. Then I think Swallows has a better record.
You reckon?
I don't think so. I don't think head-to-head Swiss looks at what happened when we met. Did you beat me? If it was a draw,
did Swallows
I think the first round, The second round, must have been a draw, yeah. But the first round, yeah. But you can't really expect Swallows not to collect even a single point in the remaining 2 games. I mean, yes, we've talked about them, but they cannot not be able to win a 1-0, just get a point in the remaining 2 games. I know they are difficult games against a team like Eswatini United that is fighting for relegation, but I don't think they can get 0 points in the next 2 games. They have a chance to get a point. But congratulations to them, so job well done by Caleb Ngwenya. A coach, I think, he's done it now with Swallows. I think he's done it with, Green Mamba. You look at his job at Green Mamba, you look at what he was able to do. So I think now he's one of the good coaches we have in the country, yeah. He's one of the good coaches because getting that young squad, they played about 3 finals because they played the Trade Fair Cup final against Green Mamba. They played the Ngwenyama Cup final. They played the Momo Cup. So all these are finals that they played and they couldn't get a win. But for God to say, you know what, let me just bless them with the league. Chances of winning the league, by the way, it's huge. It's huge.
Yeah.
And going to Africa once again, they can't wait.
Muneni Pirates, Denver Sundowns, are they being relegated?
In my opinion, I think they'll go down because I'm looking at the game this weekend because Highlanders is playing Wanderers. So if Wanderers is able to get a draw, they'll get 22 points, and right now they're 21. So they stand a chance, and they can still win the game. So I think Wanderers will be safe, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I think the 2 teams, Denver, I don't see them escaping things in hospice, and Muneni Pirates, I also don't see them maybe collecting maximum points against Ilo, for which I think they have been impressive this year. So in my opinion, I think they've got the 2 of them, the 2 Manzini side, and I think it's a worry because these are some of the biggest clubs in the land. So seeing them going down, then it tells you the level of competition we have. When we talk about Muneni Pirates, I think after Swallows, Highlanders, and Wanderers, they're the 3rd followed club. We don't have to mention what's happening with Singizini these days, but historically they're one of the biggest clubs with supporters. Now we are Moneni, Gamanzini, so you know what they say.
Yeah.
It's about Muneni Pirates. So it's unfortunate, but winning 2 games so far in the season, I think they are going down.
37 of 38, the English Premier League, it's done, Fabrice. It's done, but I mean that's the league that I'm talking about.
Yeah.
But we don't know who's winning it. We cannot really confirm right now, seated here, that City is taking it, but they will open the weekend, May 11th against Fulham, 1:30 p.m. We're looking to see a really, really interesting game because Fulham do not want to lose to City, but City needs to win against Fulham, which makes this game really interesting. I want us to get into that game and then get into the Arsenal and United game, which is going to be on Sunday, looking to be the biggest game of the weekend. That's my own opinion. I don't know about you.
Yeah,
so
it is,
talk to me about, we will see the graphic go up and talk about the other games as well, but I really want us to focus on Fulham and City, United and Arsenal.
More than anything, you have to look at also City. They go to Fulham this Saturday, and I've never liked when a team plays when their competitor has already played because it puts them under pressure. By the time Arsenal go to Old Trafford to Manchester United on Sunday, they will know what happened between Fulham and City. Then changes everything because if City wins, then they're on top of the log. And they go to Manchester United with that pressure that we need to go back. And mind you, this is the week that, for the Arsenal supporters, they need to hear this. This is the week that we determine or that we give them clearance that they're taking the league or not. Because when City leaves Fulham on Sunday, on Wednesday, they play Tottenham, Wednesday midweek. That's the game in hand that we've been talking about.
And that's
the game in hand. People have been saying they might drop points. They need to see the game against Fulham because by the time they get on Sunday, they'll be on top of the log. But like you said, game of the week, Manchester United.
Why do you say they will be?
They will be
on top of the log by Sunday.
I don't think they will struggle against Fulham. I don't think so. Swiss, I gave you my prediction the other time. I think City will win the league, but 99% good job by Arteta. I love what he's done for the club and by just showing the strength. They're capable of anything. But I don't see City dropping points. I don't see them. I stand to be wrong, but I don't see them dropping points.
Yeah.
They stand a chance to really, getting that trophy once again for the fourth time. So they beat Fulham, they go to Tottenham midweek, and they conclude the season with West Ham. So you have to see these games in how they will perform. And I think with now talks that Arteta might also miss the last game of the season, we have to wait and see against Everton, not being on the bench due to how the Premier League is in terms of dealing with coaches. But look at how they are standing. 83, 82, they win against Fulham. They're 84. So by the time Arsenal go to Manchester United, they need to win so that they are back on 86.
It's a really tough road for Arsenal.
Yeah, Liverpool is out of the race officially. They can't keep up.
Indeed.
5 points behind log leaders. Even if Arsenal was to lose the 2 games, which I don't think will happen, City also have to lose the 2 games, which I don't think will happen. Liverpool are out. Yeah. Chelsea,
man.
Impressive. I've been impressed. They're vying for the position, for the Europa League position. Look at now on top of Manchester United, above Manchester United. And at some point in January, remember, we were talking about them being number 13, number 14. But look at them now, number 7. And they have game in hand. And United also have a game in hand. But
brilliant game, by the way.
Yeah.
The game they last played. That Spanish boy, man, what a player.
Yeah.
So I do want to as a Chelsea fan, Fabrice.
Yeah.
But Craven Cottage is where City will be this weekend. And that is at least what is giving me comfort that they must get a draw. They must get a draw. I want them to get a draw. Don't let them beat you at your own stadium. They can't come at your place.
Tell you what, I think more than enough world supporters, I think they believe that it's Arsenal's year to win the title. And I think on the African continent, Manchester United supporters, they feel like, I know, Arsenal shouldn't. But if you really talk to people in Manchester, in England, they tell you they will favor Arsenal to take the league because they don't want their neighbors to take the league. It's going to be really heavy on them. So I think, like you said, they might drop points because this is the English Premiership, but highly unlikely. City are vying. City are cruising. I think they will win this game.
And that is 37 of 38. That is the match day. I'm wondering, I'd love to get communication here, how much time we have left so that we maybe dissect the other games as well. We are left with 3 minutes, Fabrice. Let's look at Spurs. Spurs are playing Burnley this weekend, and it's a big game for Spurs as well. Because
it's a very big game. Remember, they're fighting for, which I think they have lost the position for the Champions League. I don't think really in terms of where
if they win, they're at 72.
If they win, they're on 63 actually. Yeah, they're 63. Aston Villa has got 2
my
games.
bad. My bad.
Yeah, so I don't think really Aston Villa will lose their 2 remaining games. They might win 1. They just need to win 1. Then they confirm their position number 4. Spurs, I think, Newcastle United, and there's Chelsea that is above, that's behind them. So,
are they making it to Europa?
I think Spurs, Newcastle United, Chelsea, they are going to make it to Europa. I don't think.
Why would you?
When the season started, I say Manchester United cannot play the Champions League. I don't think the squad, what they do, they've got good players, but I don't think the squad has got what it takes. But come to Europa League, they might stand a chance. Question marks are there. But with what Chelsea is doing currently, recently beating West Ham 5-0.
Beating Tottenham 2-0.
Yeah, 2-0 and West Ham 5-0. That's their City rivals. Then it tells you where they are heading. Which I think next season they might change how they play. We might see a different Chelsea. So I think the 3 teams deserve to go to Champions League. Newcastle, Spurs, UEFA Europa League. Spurs, Newcastle, and Chelsea. Then you've got United. We now hear talks that at the end of the season, Eric Ten Hag will be released. It's a lot to swallow in terms of what the supporters have been watching since the beginning of the season. Yeah,
probably one of the worst runs in history there by Sheffield United, finishing the league with.
They are already relegated, actually, so because you look at the 2 games. Even if they were to win them, they will be 22 points.
Yeah.
So they are already
and they might
relegated.
finish the league with less than 20 points.
Yeah, less than 20 points. That's the worst, finish in the league in the history. I think more than 20 seasons. But we have to look at Burnley because they still stand a chance. Yes, they faced Tottenham over the weekend, but I think they're also going down. Company, he tried everything, but I don't think. I've been a huge favour of Luton Town. Yes, there's Nottingham Forest there, who were appealing for their deducted points, but they failed to win the appeal. But I've been a huge fan of Luton Town, and I still haven't lost hope in what they can do. I think they can still get a chance to avoid relegation.
Yeah.
Remember, they relegate 3. So in terms of who stands a chance, either Luton Town or Nottingham Forest.
Yeah.
Let's see Monday on how the table will look like.
Well, Fabrice, you've already said it. We'll see on Monday what these numbers will be looking like on these different tables. I think about 2 tables that we're looking at. And then we will be putting our eyes on the 1st of June on the UEFA Champions League final. Really excited for that one as well.
So before I let you go, now we've got all the winners in Europe. Italy champions are in Inter Milan, France PSG, Spain La Liga, there's Real Madrid. In Portugal, Sporting Lisbon. Then Germany.
Mamelodi Sundowns.
There's Germany, Leverkusen. It's in England. We're left with top leagues in Europe.
And Bavana Swallows. It's a top league as well. Sneak the one in. Cheers. Bahlelo ethu masinyane sitakoquda lihlelo masinyane.
Okay, but vuka sikhulume.
Is marriage the prize? No.
Do I smash on the first date?
Also, I don't have exes. I only have a current.
It is an interesting journey, a journey that I cannot take alone, a journey that needs you and me. Your favorite show, Tanda Nkondo, cultivates and captivates talents of Eswatini all over the country, be it poetry or craft. Make sure that you join me, Fortunate Mabuza, every Saturday, 4 p.m. on Eswatini TV, Sibugo Semaswati.
Right, so see if you can and there it is. Fabrice thinks that Bavana Swallows is going to, come out victorious, just judging by the mathematics, and he's always a numbers guy. He loves to be realistic when it comes to, the end of a league. So I just want to agree with him as well, because my hope for Green Mamba, but Ernest is still hopeful. Green Mamba is still hopeful. At least Fabrice also agreed that his young Buffaloes, there's no hope anymore. So I can find comfort in the fact that me and him were both wrong, but at least now we are both looking correct in agreeing that Bavana Swallows will take it home.
All right, thank you for joining us. Have a lovely and safe weekend. We'll see you on Monday in Salagahle.
Be sure to catch Business Watch every Wednesday between 2 p.m. to 3 p.m, where we feature the latest updates on business news, market trends, and exclusive interviews with industry leaders, as well as insights on emerging small and medium enterprises in the commercial sector. Business Watch, your business leader.
Kuthuthuka kwembango, kuthuthuka kwetinkhundla. Kuthuthuka kwetinkhundla yintuthuko yelive lonke. Thokotela luhlelo sive siyathuthuka nasikulethela intuthuko emimangweni njalo ngabo lesithathu nase ishaya yagabanca insimbi yesithupha kusihlwa. Sive siyathuthuka.